What's up, guys? Game Tinkerer here, and it is Monday, 5:30 p.m. and I've been thinking about a couple of things. And so I was watching Vintage Gamer, Retro Vintage Gamer's latest thing, and it was something along the lines of, is the Nintendo Switch powerful enough to last against current gens? And it got me thinking. It's really, if you want to, by the way, if you want to watch that video, I will leave a link down below for that. He is a very, very knowledgeable person, puts out great content. If you haven't visited him before, he is one of the pioneers on the OG Xbox for homebrew. He knows a lot of stuff, and he's a really good guy. I don't know him personally, but everything that I've seen, he's a pretty stand-up guy, and he's very knowledgeable. So I'll leave that link down below. And again, his video got me thinking. And so the current Switch has the X1 Tegra. There's the Tegra 1X. It's got 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's got a 32 gig onboard memory and a SD card expansion slot. It's got no hard drive support, and as far as I know, you can go all the way up to a 1 terabyte SD card. If you run firmware, if you run custom firmware, that is, you can get hard drive support, but only with one custom firmware. The other ones are not going to add it because of piracy issues, and they don't condone piracy, although we all know that everybody that runs custom firmware is basically a game pirate. But that's not true 100%, but most people that do, you know, that's just my opinion. But this is my idea for a way that Nintendo could possibly build a Nintendo Switch Pro, or have this be the next version of whatever they're going with. I personally like the format of the hardware. I do wish it was more powerful. I wish that it had more onboard storage. But I mean, it is what it is. We can't change it. All we can do is make it better. So my idea was going with the, and depending on whether you want Intel or AMD, you can go i7 laptop, because it uses less power, and the chipset is not as big, because you still want this to be a hybrid. At least with this build, it would still be a hybrid. It would be a lot like the what is it, the Alienware handheld that they're coming out with now. Only this one would be, you know, branded as Nintendo. Of course, it would be the i7 Intel Core, or the Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9 mobile CPUs. If I was to build it, it would have 16 gigabytes of DDR4 or DDR5 RAM, depending on costs. It would have a custom 6 gig or 4 gig video chipset. That's just, I think it would run especially well with 6 gig. But, I mean, adding all this stuff up, we're probably going to run more like $800 to $1,000. There's people out there that would pay that much for this, especially with the capability. If I was to do this, it would be a nVme hard drive in it, 1 terabyte, upgradable to 2 terabytes. It would again have the USB-C. It would also support USB 3.0. It would have a HDMI port on it, full size, because mini is crap. It would support 720p handheld. which is plenty on an 8-inch screen. You don't need 1080p, although it would be perfectly capable of doing so. And 1440 or 2K on the docked. They would have an 8-inch bezel, or 8-inch screen with a thin bezel. So basically about the same size as the screen is now, only it would have a very thin bezel on it. And the battery would be removable. Probably be about 10 to 20,000 milliamps, which is a big battery, but if you're running all this hardware, you're going to be producing quite a bit of heat. So of course you'd have to redesign the dock as well. Docked, you know, I say 1440 to 2K. You can possibly do 4K docked and 1080p on the handheld, or even 1440p handheld. Just depends on how good that video chipset is. It could be a lot of different things, but I think that this would be a very capable system. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Nintendo would go this route, or do you think that they're just stuck on the Tegra chips and they're going to keep going with basically just a fancy tablet? I definitely think that it needs more RAM. Multiple people have shown that the game developers are having trouble getting these AAA games to run on here because of the RAM. It's running out of RAM. It's got 4 gigs. Come on. You can't run this on a computer with 4 gig. But, I mean, it is what it is. Again, I'm going to put all these notes in the description down below. That way you guys can check it out. Definitely leave me some comments, what you think about it, whether this was too crazy. And of course, you know, I haven't checked the prices of these, but you have to figure if they're going to build it like this, it's not going to cost them $800 or $1,000 to do this. It's going to be more like $300 or $400. And I mean, because they're doing it on the massive scale. So just let me know, comments down below, what you guys think, what they could do to make it better, something realistic that they could build, that maybe would be cheaper. I think a lot of people would be down for a Pro at like the $600 level, as long as it could back up all this stuff. Now, if they put one out that had 32 gigabytes of storage, no, that's not going to work. But you know, definitely if they stepped it up, got rid of the plastic shell, got a more premium magnesium or aluminum one, you know, something more rigid, something more premium, like the analog products, they would definitely put out the money for the products. But leave me a comment down below, like, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, definitely hit the subscribe button. It does help out as much as it can, and we just like to have you guys stay safe, keep on gaming. Thanks, guys.